What's up, guys? This is going to be kind of my semi-unboxing, semi-review, semi-thoughts on the Roman Empire Graflex flash run that's kind of finishing up right now. The hilts are all shipping to everybody, or flash tubes, I should say, rather than hilts, because they were designed to be a accurate flash tube, more so than something like the 2.0, which was designed for installs. The reason I say partial install is I actually already, partial unboxing. I already opened it. I actually did record it, but I realized I kind of had to wrap it up. My newborn son woke up, so I wrapped it up a lot faster than I'd like to, and there's some points that I would like to touch base on. I have been fairly critical online about this in regards to some of the things that are not accurate. Me and many others, I guess, were led to believe that this would be a 1-1, amazingly accurate, indistinguishable to most from the real thing flash tube. And so as people started getting them, some people were disappointed. So I've been very critical online, but this obviously is the ultimate, is, you know, actually checking it out. And so this will be mostly in comparison to, I own, or I just sold last week, so I guess I now own 2 of the Corinth 2.0. I own one, what I would refer to as the 2.0, which was from the first run. Another one is what I would call the 2.1, which is from the most recent run, which actually had a lot of machining flaws that, interestingly enough, are shared by many of the Roman hilts. So from what I understand, they are not affiliated, this design was not affiliated with the Park design at all, but it was made in the same factory as the 2.0. But like I said, what's interesting is it shares a lot of the same flaws. So that can be open-ended. It is what it is. And anyway, I've ranted for too long. You guys want to see this. So anyway, I kind of repackaged it how I got it. Comes in bubble wrap, much like the same box as the 2.0. So you got your one layer of bubble wrap, and then you got your bubble wrap sleeve. Okay, so when I actually first got it too in my unboxing video, it was so cold outside, you couldn't, I was wiping frost away from the finish. So this will kind of give a better look at the overall finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start at the top, much like I did on my 3 variant Graflex video. I'm just going to start at the top and I'm going to work my way down. I'm going to talk about what I like. I'm going to talk about what I don't like. And then I'll give kind of an overall impression. So if that's all you care about, you can skip to the end of the video. So right off the bat, one thing I noticed is right here along this, it's really rough. I've seen some of the 2.0 kits that they're actually stepped. I've been fortunate enough, mine have all been fairly good. You can see a little stepping there, just a little bit. But if you look at them side by side, you can see they're both really rough. Now, maybe this is going to make you turn the video off, but I've never actually handled a vintage Graflex tube. Whether that makes my opinion completely invalid is up for debate. But I am assuming that really bad kind of orange peel texture on the plating of the brass isn't desirable. That's my assumption. Is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not. But it's something that is just there. And that type of thing, I'm not gonna say is a fault of Roman at all. That to me is just shitty Chinese manufacturing. That's, why the price is what it is. So something just to be aware of, I would say, but that's across the board with the replicas. So there's that. Bunny ears, they look good. This is kind of bent out from there. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be. I'm not going to gripe too much because the ears, much like this, are actually too long. And a vintage Graflex has shorter ears. The Graflex shop says they're going to come out with a more accurate bunny ear, so I plan on swapping with that. And also they used a Allen cap screw instead of like a rivet. There's an Etsy store called Saber Screws that sells a threaded rivet to replace this with, so what I'll do is just put one of those in and swap the ears at some point. That'll fix a lot of the initial noticeable accuracy type things. A lot of people have been getting these bent, so that's something that's kind of crappy. The ears being too long is a Roman issue. Ears being bent is a Chinese issue. So, you know, again, you can't hold that against, you know, the guy selling them because he didn't manufacture them like that. It's got the little, I don't know what you'd call that. There's actually quite a few scratch marks on my plastic, but I mean, I'm not super worried about it. And the irony is people pay thousands, hundreds for vintage flash tubes that look like absolute shit, and you don't complain, yet we buy a cheap replica and we complain about every little scratch. So, you know, I mean, you can just say that I'm bitching, and that's totally fair. But I am. But anyway, this is cool. It just looks awesome. I like this inner part. Because I plan on making this a static hilt, I'm super, you know, stoked about having that versus something like this, where, you know, it looks good, but you can tell that it's a blade plug. So I think I like that. I like the flat tab. It's nice. It's just something you don't have to upgrade. This one's an Empire Strikes Back, so obviously it doesn't have one, but I have one from Skywampa coming for my Force Awakens variant, and then also the functioning button, which is very cool. It's got the nice flush proper screw there, which is very cool. Just one less thing you have to do if you got something like this. It's got the sync tabs. This one is pretty crooked. It's crooked enough it bothers me, so I kind of need to figure out if there's an easy way to fix that. Again, that's a China issue. It's got the glass eye, which of course, I didn't grab my Force Awakens one to bring out, but I've got to say that the ones from the Graflex shop that imitate a real glass eye do a really good job, because they look very similar to this. So, you know, not a whole lot to say about that. Moving down, another big thing on these ones, there was a difference in the finish right here. I'm not going to try and find it on that one, but you can see, maybe, it's almost like on those ones it was a difference in the finish. On these it's just orange peel, so I actually think I can, there you go, you can really see it there. I think I can actually fix it with some Scotch-Brite. It sucks, but since I have so many of the 2.0 kits, it's, you know, nothing new. I have one of the Romans, what they're referring to as the summer run clamps, that people, you know, they're immaculate, they're amazing. Honestly, you know, to me, this I don't have any issues with the clamp. A lot of people bitched about the clamp. Honestly, I really don't care too much about that, of all things. So I like the clamp. I've no issues with it. If somebody had one and they hated it enough and were selling it, I would absolutely buy it to, you know, replace some of these. So dig the clamp. I like that it's got, you know, an actual flathead. You have to go through and replace all the Allen head screws on this if you want it closer to accurate. And then you've got your pommel cap. The tell is, where is it? It says RE there for Roman Empire instead of US patent. Other than that, it looks awesome. I really dig it. To me, it's a huge difference. I've got the Skywampa cap here, which I think is awesome. I like it a lot. It pops a little more. And I mean, this is kind of a blatant replica, but for this, I really like it. To me, it's just one of the little things that you know, feels really awesome. If you don't want to throw down a ton of money for a, you know, vintage, this kind of gets you there. I'm going to open it up. You can see kind of some of the bits in there. Got your spring in there. I actually tried putting batteries in it earlier, and I couldn't really get it to work. I mean, I kind of did, but we'll try it here on camera. And there we go. Oh, it was on for a second there. I don't know. There's something in there that's loose, but it does in fact work. So, I mean, it's kind of cool just to see it functioning like that. But I'm not sure if it's just that, you know, a tab needs to be bent, or you know, the spring maybe needs to be bent out. But I wanted to show that in fact it does absolutely function, you know, as a working flash. Let's see if I can figure out how to do this. There we go. I like, actually, this, to me, this just feels a lot better than the 2.0. Just has a more solid feel. Oh, I didn't even mention the, it's got the actual little tab screw. It's not like this one where it's got a Allen. So anyway, overall, oh, let me get it in camera. Overall, I would probably give this a 7 out of 10, maybe an 8 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10, if that's a thing, if that counts. And I say that just because it suffers the same downfalls as the 2.0 kits in regards to the manufacturing. I'm actually, you know, I'm going to say a solid 7. And the reason I'm going to say that is because of the issues with these being off, so that it won't accept vintage innards or blade plugs. I get that Roman set out to make a flash tube, and so that happening wasn't something that he necessarily maybe considered, because his goal was making something that could be converted into a static prop. But for a lot of people, that's a big downside. It's a downside if maybe, you know, if you found a true vintage inside and you wanted to put it in here just to kind of convert piece by piece, you can't do that. So, you know, something like that kind of sucks. So I'm going to say a solid 7 out of 10. But at the same time, so if you paid $150 on the initial run for this, then you can't bitch. You got to steal. But you pay $195 plus shipping for one of these Corbin hilts. But then you're going to spend probably another $100 or so. Maybe less. That's a bullshit answer. You're going to spend a lot less than 100, but you're going to spend a lot of money converting it to be a more realistic hilt. I mean, even just if you go with the KR, you know, pommel, Graflex shop, glass eye, red button, sync tabs, all the various screws, you're going to spend a lot of money. Actually, you know what? You probably are going to spend $100 if you consider the blade plug, if you're going for static. So when you consider that you're going to spend maybe $300 for this versus even $250 for this, this is still the better deal. Although if you're going to go, you know, do an FX install, this comes ready for it. This one doesn't. But, you know, that one's kind of a crappy blade holder and everything anyway. So, you know, I'm going to say this is still absolutely the better option, which is perfect because there's only one more run of these, I believe. I think the last run is coming up soon. So as far as this being the best option, absolutely. When the Graflex shop version comes out, I'm going to, you know, I already had one ordered for a while, so I'm going to do a side-by-side again, and we'll kind of see where it ranks. I've been talking that one up a lot, but obviously it's not out yet, so you can't really say for sure. But I would say overall, I'm actually pretty happy with this. Yes, there's things that suck about it, but I plan on building a static hilt, so luckily I don't have a blade holder or anything like that I've already paid for that doesn't fit. I just, you know, some of the finish things, and the biggest thing for me, I guess, is the bunny ears. The fact that, I mean, I don't know, if that's how it's supposed to be, then cool, but I feel like that's supposed to sit over a little more, and then the fact that I need to swap this screw and that out just kind of suck a little bit, but, you know, it is what it is. The finish you know, it looks good to me. It doesn't look any worse than the 2.0, which is what I'm used to. So yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. I think that it's like I said, it's still the best option out there. So I would definitely pick one up if you want a Graflex and you don't want to spend the money for a vintage. The big thing is keep an eye out for the Graflex shop ears and a saber screws rivet for right there, and then you should be good to go. So yeah, let me know if you think that that's fair or not. And like I said, I've got a saber coming from the Graflex shop, or a hilt, flash tube, whatever. And I'm going to do a side-by-side of those too. So hopefully that'll give you guys a good, well-rounded opinion on stuff.